Tonight, a manhunt for suspects armed and dangerous in northern Saskatchewan.
They said a side-by-side drove by and somebody started shooting at them.
A deadly shooting on a First Nation and a warning for residents to lock their doors. BC communities cut off, a main highway destroyed by torrential rains.
It looked like an earthquake or something had happened. It just destroyed it.
The people stranded and how long it could take to fix. The CRA is out $10 billion it paid in COVID benefits to people who weren't eligible.
I don't have the money. I have no money.
How it's pressuring Canadians to pay up.
From CBC News, this is The National with Lindsay Duncombe.
Thanks for joining us. Adrienne is on assignment. A deadly mass shooting in a small Saskatchewan community spurred a manhunt today as people more than an hour away were told to get inside and lock the doors. The violence took place on Big Island Lake, Cree Nation, not far from the Alberta border, killing one man and wounding 3 other people. It happened early this morning, sending RCMP on the hunt for 2 armed but unidentified suspects. And that search continues tonight. Alexander Silberman takes us into the community where we hear from the victim's family, now mourning.
Just couldn't think right.
Larry Wapistaquan, overwhelmed by shock and grief. His son Neil killed in an early morning mass shooting near this cabin on a northern Saskatchewan First Nation.
I hope those guys, they get caught.
Big Island Lake Cree Nation, shaken, mourning, and still waiting for answers. After spending most of the day indoors, warned by RCMP, 2 armed and dangerous suspects were on the loose. Neil's uncle says the surviving victims came to his home for help.
They said a side-by-side drove by and somebody started shooting at them.
In total, 4 people were shot. Police haven't identified the suspects or made any arrests. They were last spotted on an ATV.
Officers are as well investigating the scene and interviewing witnesses to determine whether the shooting is random or targeted.
The community is near the Alberta border, home to about 800 people. For 8 hours, residents were urged to lock their doors. But police say they no longer believe there is an imminent risk to public safety.
We don't take safety issues lightly, and we are working as quickly as we can while being diligent to that investigational integrity to locate the proper suspects.
Community leaders say they need government help to tackle gangs and mental health issues in the community.
And I know it's becoming a very frustrating thing for our First Nations leadership and our communities dealing with the issues that lead to this type of violence.
The family of Neil Wapistaquan demanding answers. They say he was previously involved in a gang, but left many years ago.
Kind of in shock after I went to that scene, seen my nephew laying there, then the cops doing CPR on him.
As the community starts to process the shooting, people are pressuring police to locate those responsible fast.
And Alexander, there are concerns over how little police seem to know about the suspects.
That's right, Lindsay. There are questions tonight over why RCMP haven't been able to identify the 2 suspects they're looking for, even though the First Nation says it has more than 100 security cameras. Police say they're reviewing the footage, but it was too dark to clearly see the 2 people or their clothing, and say they're working as quickly as they can to identify and find those responsible.
Thanks, Alexander. That is Alexander Silberman in Edmonton. Off BC's north coast, some people have been stranded after heavy rain washed out the main highway on Haida Gwaii. Jessica Chung shows us the damage and how residents are coping.
The aftermath of a deluge of rain dumped on BC's north coast, the damage on Haida Gwaii, the archipelago's main highway, severed.
I have never seen anything like that on our highway before. Wow, it looked like an earthquake or something had happened. It just destroyed it.
An atmospheric river stalled over the islands through the weekend, hitting Haida Gwaii and the mainland with up to 200 millimeters of rain in just 2 days.
It's been a wet season for them, and we've had quite a number of systems already go through the North Coast, which is not really surprising. However, this one was just particularly strong and particularly long.
The rain flooded roads, tearing a gaping trench through a critical route linking towns in the north and south, shutting down 5 kilometers of Highway 16, cutting off drivers in both directions.
It looks just like a little gash in the road, but what's really important is that is the only road linking all of Haida Gwaii. So at the moment, there's no way for, say, the groceries that came off the ferry this morning, there's no way for them to get to the stores in Port Clements or Masset.
We're on day 2 of being stranded.
Many couldn't get home, some sleeping in temporary shelters.
The important thing for me was to reassure my daughter that we're safe, because it is a natural disaster and we need to remain calm, keep our wits about us.
Another concern, hospital access on either side of the washout, as the ER on the north end is currently closed from 3 p.m. overnight. Northern Health says it's working on solutions such as ambulance-only access and air transport options as weather conditions allow. Crews quickly work to fill in parts of the hole to open 1 lane of alternating traffic, with more rain expected in the forecast later this week. Jessica Chung, CBC News, Vancouver.
Extreme weather is blasting parts of the country tonight, triggering warnings and alerts from Environment Canada. Large areas of Ontario and Quebec are getting hit with blowing snow, freezing rain, and dangerously cold temperatures. The storms have wreaked havoc on roads and cut power to tens of thousands of people. In some areas, drivers are being urged to stay off the roads if they don't have to. The U.S.'s targeting of alleged drug smugglers from Venezuela is escalating. After weeks of blowing up boats in international waters, a dock has now been hit. It is the first known U.S. operation inside the country. Karen Pauls with the details and the concerns being raised.
It was a stunning revelation about the kind of operation usually kept very secret. The first known U.S. strike on Venezuela.
There was a major explosion in the dock area where they load the boats up with drugs, and that is no longer around.
Now, quoting unnamed sources, U.S. media is reporting the CIA was responsible, using drones to hit a remote dock on Venezuela's coast. According to the reports, officials believed it was used by the transnational gang Tren de Aragua to store narcotics and prepare them for shipment by sea.
It's pretty stunning that President Trump would reveal a covert action like this by bragging about it. This is not an appropriate way to handle highly sensitive and classified information.
The U.S. has destroyed dozens of boats they say were carrying drugs in international waters around Venezuela, killing at least 100 people. And after Trump announced what he called a blockade of sanctioned oil tankers leaving and entering Venezuela, the U.S. also intercepted several of those. The apparent goal? To squeeze Venezuelan President Nicolás Maduro's main economic lifeline.
There is no justification.
But a strike inside the country, experts say, is a major escalation.
There has been a profound violation of the UN Charter on this. When you have an actual territorial integrity invasion, that's actually a bigger form of undermining of the rules-based orders, which has been established since the Second World War.
The Venezuelan government has not yet responded to the land strike.
The press, United States, listen to me.
But during a meeting in Caracas last Friday, Maduro was defiant. Venezuela is strong and powerful, he said, seeks peace and defends it.
Es de paz.
Lindsay, the Trump administration says this is all about drugs, but many observers believe Trump's ultimate goal here is to force regime change in Venezuela.
Is there any sense of where things go from here?
You know, Trump has reportedly been threatening to invade Venezuela really since his first term as president. In October, he said he'd authorized the CIA to conduct covert operations inside the country. And he's been building up his military in the Caribbean, leading many to speculate that that may be his next move. Lindsay?
Thanks, Karen. Karen Pauls tonight in Washington. A warning tonight from public health officials in Toronto. They are seeing a troubling rise in opioid-related overdose calls this holiday season. And as Michelle Song shows us, it is made more dangerous by a drug supply tainted with animal tranquilizers.
Julie Eplett says every Christmas without her brother is hard.
We'd gone out and walked around.
He died of complications from an opioid overdose 20 years ago.
I think it's a tough time of year for people and people who have addictions.
Over this 8-day stretch in December, Toronto saw a spike in opioid overdoses. Paramedics responded to 122 suspected cases, 35% higher than during the same period in the previous 2 years. But nationally, opioid deaths have dropped by 22% since last year.
Data at the national level can mask what's happening across jurisdiction.
The majority of overdose-related deaths happen in Ontario, BC, and Alberta.
Drug markets vary across jurisdictions, so that's why we're seeing different rates of toxicity, deaths, or harms. And in terms of the percentage reduction, it varies across jurisdiction.
Cities like Toronto and Vancouver say opioids are being contaminated, recently with medetomidine, an animal tranquilizer that can't be reversed with naloxone.
It's quite fast acting. It causes sedation or people to get kind of sleepy, drowsy. It can also lower the heart rate, lower the blood pressure.
So they had about 3,000 visits a month.
This advocate says the closure of some supervised consumption sites in Ontario are making a bad situation worse.
There were also places that people got information about what was happening in the drug supply where they could actually get these alerts from public health. And we're continuing to lose those.
PHAC says the current national trend of declining overdose-related deaths is fragile, and Canada is at the mercy of an unpredictable drug supply as new substances continue to be introduced. Michelle Song, CBC News, Toronto.
The Canada Revenue Agency is trying to recoup some $10 billion in COVID benefits paid to Canadians by mistake. It was only after the pandemic Ottawa determined some people weren't eligible. And as Jamie Strachan shows us, the agency is increasing pressure to force them to pay.
It's an awful situation for a kid to be in.
During the worst days of the pandemic, country singer Patrick Massey, along with hundreds of thousands of Canadians, applied for COVID-19 benefits.
I would have never applied for anything that I did not qualify for.
But according to the government, Massey was not eligible for most of the CERB money he got, and now is being asked to repay nearly $30,000. He's far from alone. In fact, the Canadian Revenue Agency says it's trying to recoup nearly $10 billion in benefits paid to people later found to be ineligible.
Certainly at least a client every day, several clients a week, and it's often a very severe situation.
Insolvency trustee Blair Manton says people have a right to appeal, and in general, the CRA has been willing to work with people to reduce the amount owed, but that's changing.
In the last few months, I've seen that approach change pretty significantly. So we're certainly seeing bank account freezes now. We're seeing garnishees.
It's a scenario many saw coming.
That was the initial mistake, was the lack of due diligence at the front end, the lack of proper guardrails at the front end to protect taxpayers from a multi-billion-dollar mistake. That clearly didn't happen.
At the same time, there was pressure to get this money out quickly. Now taxpayers are on the hook for billions that may never be collected.
I don't have the money. I have no money. I live in poverty. I'm on disability. I can't afford to, and I can't afford to lose $27,000.
Manton has a warning for those who think this will go away.
Don't ignore the problem. If you owe money to the government, there's no statute of limitations. You can't wait out this type of debt.
All of it a lingering byproduct of the pandemic. Gone, but for many, impossible to escape. Jamie Strachan, CBC News, Toronto.
NFL star Stefon Diggs is facing charges of strangulation and assault after an alleged dispute with his former private chef. The New England Patriots wide receiver is accused of hitting and choking the woman in his Massachusetts home during a discussion about money. A lawyer for the 32-year-old player calls the claims unsubstantiated and uncorroborated. The Patriots say they support Diggs and are standing by him. A U.S.-based company is trying to solve one of aviation's biggest mysteries. What happened to Malaysia Airlines Flight 370? The plane vanished more than a decade ago over the southern Indian Ocean. Caroline Bargut now with why this search may be different.
For nearly 12 years, families have been desperate for answers that never came. Now, a renewed effort to find Malaysia Airlines Flight 370. It disappeared in 2014 with 239 people on board. Departing from Kuala Lumpur to Beijing, the flight was supposed to take 6 hours. Instead, it veered off course and vanished from radar an hour after takeoff. It's not clear what caused the crash. While small pieces of the Boeing 777 have washed up, most of the plane has never been found. In 2018, Ocean Infinity, the American marine robotics company, searched for 3 months and came up empty. But on the 10th anniversary of the disappearance, the Malaysian government announced the company could try again.
The Ministry of Transport are ready to invite Ocean Infinity to Malaysia to discuss the proposal of a no fine, no fee proposal.
This time, Ocean Infinity will search 15,000 square kilometers over 55 days. It will be paid $70 million, but only if the wreckage is found.
It's impressive that they've taken that challenge on.
Experts say this time search crews have more advanced technology, but it won't be easy.
Underwater is actually a lot more rugged than above the ground, so you could easily lose relatively large objects in deep canyons in between ridges, so it's really hard to find.
Ocean Infinity has had luck finding the unfindable. In 2022, they played a role in discovering Sir Ernest Shackleton's lost ship, the Endurance, off the coast of Antarctica, more than 100 years after it sank. Families are hopeful too. Chiang Hui remembers waving goodbye to his 72-year-old mother, never to see her again. Finding the plane, finding my loved ones, finding the truth. These are things I must do in my lifetime, he says. For now, they wait, anxious for the day they can finally lay their loved ones to rest. Caroline Bargut, CBC News, London.
A new era for New York City with the first millennial and Muslim mayor.
The future is in our hands.
His big promises bringing hope and hesitation.
Some new energy and new young blood.
From terrified to resigned.
The historic rise of Zoran Mamdani next. Plus, what it's like capturing some of the biggest stories of the year.
You have to be good to be lucky, and you're lucky to be good.
CBC photographers share their favorite images of 2025. We're back in 2. On January 1st, Zoran Mamdani will officially become the mayor of New York City. He'll make history as the first Muslim mayor and the youngest in more than a century. But Mamdani's meteoric rise and big promises have left New Yorkers polarized. Chris Reyes now with the expectations for the incoming mayor.
In the city that Zoran Mamdani will lead in the new year, mixed feelings about their new mayor.
I think they've gone from terrified to resigned.
Super excited to have some new energy and new young blood.
He's right about a lot of things. We can't say we feel comfortable in Mamdani's New York. We just don't know.
To understand why, it helps to track Mamdani's meteoric rise from this moment less than a year ago.
I'm gonna vote for you. Your energy is... Thank you. Everybody out!
And to his improbable victory that knocked out a legacy Democrat, former New York Governor Andrew Cuomo.
The future is in our hands.
With his rise came some big controversies, like his hard line on Israel.
As mayor, New York City would arrest Benjamin Netanyahu.
And his agenda of free buses, fixed rent, and higher taxes.
It is odd, to have the bastion of American capitalism,
with the socialists getting that job.
And now the city awaits to see if Mamdani will govern as he campaigned.
Congratulations, Mr. Mayor. Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you.
Many of his harshest critics have pivoted with his victory. The most shocking example, Mamdani's first meeting with President Trump.
We're going to be helping him.
Millennial, Muslim, and Social Democrat. These are all firsts for a New York mayor. And Zohran Mamdani did it by winning big, with more than 50% of the vote, with the largest voter turnout since the 1960s. Many of his voters, young, working class, and diverse.
There's a very important lesson for anybody running for political office to learn that you have to focus on the needs of the people. And that is exactly what Zohran's campaign did.
If Mamdani sticks to his affordability agenda, those who have their doubts say they're willing to work with him.
He needs to focus on New York and stop harassing Israel ideologically. If it proves that he doesn't pursue this in the manner that we worry about, terrific, fantastic.
From the business community, also an extended offer to dialogue.
And he's actually said to us and to our membership, I've got my goals, I want to achieve them, but I'm wide open on how I do that.
A country polarized looks to its biggest city and its new mayor for an example of what it could mean to bridge across divides. Chris Reyes, CBC News, New York.
A Texas county turned Republican for the first time in more than a century.
It's night and day. It really is night and day.
A year after Donald Trump's re-election, do they stand by their vote? And some healthcare workers left Trump's America for a new life in Canada.
That's it. That's where I'm going. Canada. I'm going to be a Canadian.
Their reasons and the campaigns to get more to come north next. A year after Donald Trump turned a Texas border community Republican for the first time in more than a century, people there are still split over the U.S. president. Katie Simpson recently traveled to the county.
Where Mexico and America meet, Starr County, Texas. A place where cultures blend and family roots run deep. Voters in this border community took a chance for the first time on Donald Trump.
Since Donald Trump has become president, we don't see illegal crossings.
1 year later, life is different. And whether it's for better,
I love everything, everything.
or for worse,
I mean, we can't even buy groceries like before.
it all depends.
Can I say it in my word?
On who you ask.
He's a piece of shit.
Generations seeking a better life have made this a first step onto American soil. More than 90% of this community is Hispanic. Immigration has helped it grow. But during the Biden administration, illegal crossings spiked, says Jamie Escobar, the mayor of Roma, a small border city in Starr County.
Tell me what used to happen right here.
Well, yes, that casually they'd have like a little raft come across the river.
Escobar says sometimes there would be hundreds of people. Families traveling together would mostly surrender to Border Patrol and start the asylum-seeking process, while others, he said, would make a run for it.
Since Donald Trump has become president, we haven't seen the same type of situations. We don't see illegal crossings. Like I mentioned, they could be happening. They just don't happen here like we used to see them.
The number of people now apprehended along the southern U.S. border is at a 55-year low, according to U.S. Customs and Border Patrol. Escobar credits Trump, and it's part of the reason why he voted for him.
So if you were to compare what things were like under the Biden time versus what things are like now, how would you describe it?
It's night and day. It really is night and day.
Donald Trump's hardline immigration agenda, including plans to expand the border wall, it appealed to some voters here, as did his promises to make life more affordable. It helped Trump become the first Republican in 132 years to win this county. He flipped it. We found 1 year later, divisions still run pretty deep, and reviews about his return to office, they're mixed.
grito de la porra que no se oye! Si viera.
On a hot Saturday afternoon, families gather along the banks of the Rio Grande River for a barbecue competition. No one pays much attention to the very noticeable security deterrence, and Border Patrol officers get a wave hello as they pass on by. Do you stand by your vote?
I stand by my vote. I'm an ex-military, and I am for Trump. Hey, you want a piece of bread?
Sergio Ace Rosales is also a retired Border Patrol agent, and he has no concerns about how far Trump is going.
I love everything that chasing illegal aliens back.
Beto Garza is another proud Trump voter. He says the immigration changes don't affect him or anyone he knows, though he is disappointed with one aspect of Trump's agenda.
Something about the economy? They could do something better.
Organizers say fewer families are taking part in this year's competition because food prices are so high.
If you look at the price of meats for us, we all love brisket, but we're paying $3.99 for choice. We used to be paying $1.99. It hasn't gone down.
Starr County is one of the poorest communities in the U.S., with a median household income of $38,000 a year. While Trump's message on the economy resonated, his critics remain deeply skeptical.
Can I say it in my own words?
Yes.
He's a piece of shit.
Tell me why you feel like that.
Because poor people are suffering. Old people like me, I'm 80 years old, are suffering.
Ludivina Garcia is a great-grandmother who worked as a baker until just a few years ago. Her life is not any more affordable.
Me, I can live on bread and potatoes and beans, but the kids can't. So Trump is the dumbest, stupidest person I've ever seen. He takes everything for himself. He's filling his pockets while people are going hungry. And what are we supposed to do? What are we supposed to tell our grandkids?
About 20 minutes down the road, there's been plenty of change at the Texas Cafe since it was opened in 1939 by Becky Garza's grandfather.
This is a menu from 1943. 2 fried eggs, 20 cents.
She doesn't want to talk about Trump. He's too polarizing. But she's happy to tell us what life is like as a small business owner.
Oh my God. The prices on things go up and down every minute of the day. And they don't just fluctuate, here and there. They go from here to here. And the difference is bad. It's real bad.
While eggs cost less, she says meat prices are unpredictable. And customers are choosing to stay home more.
Right now we're looking at cutting hours again. It's been slow. The economy itself is just not helping us any at all.
Diana Basella and her husband are cutting corners where they can. She limits her grocery shopping to once every 2 months if she can stretch it.
We buy the necessities, the milk, the eggs, and stuff like that. We hardly buy meat.
Basella did not vote for Trump, and she's also frustrated with his deportation agenda and the way he speaks about minorities.
We've always had immigrant people, and we've never had a problem with it. They come here to work, and that's it. I mean, yes, it's everywhere. The violence is everywhere. And it's not only Mexicans, it's Americans, it's, every nationality. I guess he's just focusing on the Mexicans, really.
It's the same worry for Mindy Garza, a retired local teacher.
The way ICE is treating, Hispanic people, just because they look a certain way, they think you weren't born and raised in the U.S. and they're being attacked.
Even some of the voters who support Trump's immigration plans have some concerns.
Rounding them up with ICE agents seems sometimes a little extreme. And maybe not as fair. I wish there were a better way to do that.
Roma Mayor Jamie Escobar says he is pro-immigration, but the rules in place had not been working.
We're families of immigrants, and we're proud to say that, but We also believe that we have to have law and order.
The voters who backed Trump, we found, are willing to be patient, while there is no path for him to win over his critics. Starr County is still deeply divided. 1 year later, tensions of the 2024 election remain raw.
Those raw tensions just too much to bear for many U.S. medical professionals who don't like the Trump administration's policies. Back in the fall, I met 2 nurses who left for a new life in Canada.
Right here, and then make a right.
It's Brandy Fry's first day of work in the emergency room at Nanaimo General Hospital.
I'm so excited to be here. So relieved.
She's a nurse. She left the United States to escape Donald Trump. Good morning, Brandy.
Hi.
How are you doing? So, how are you feeling?
I'm nervous, but I'm ready.
What are the things that you're worried about?
That I'll be too pushy, or that I'll be too friendly, or I'll be too
American?
Too American. Yeah, I want to get the Canadian accent down. You know, I want to belong here.
So taking Tylenol is not good. All right, I'll say it. It's not good.
In the months since Trump was elected, much has changed for American healthcare workers.
We are the sickest country in the world.
Job cuts, changes in vaccine policy, and fear for many of delivering care in the face of immigration raids.
If you want to care for others in a place that cares about you, come to BC.
The government of British Columbia, desperate for doctors and nurses, has targeted unhappy Americans with ads like this. Even taking a food truck to hospitals in the Pacific Northwest, free snacks with a side of opportunity. The province of British Columbia says more than 140 American doctors, nurses, and nurse practitioners have accepted offers to work here, and it expects that number to grow.
Trump came into office, it was like everything turned just so vulgar and ugly. See here what this is.
Brandy Fry is among the first of the healthcare workers to make the move. She'd been working at the same hospital outside Los Angeles for 18 years.
I've worked in labor and delivery, I've worked in the emergency department, in trauma, and then I've done open hearts. Okay. So all my little boys.
She's 55.
These are the boys now.
She left behind 3 grown children, a granddaughter, and a big house.
So I'm gonna be gone from 6:30.
But she's a Democrat and a single mom. When she saw a posting about jobs in Canada on LinkedIn,
what did you guys practice today?
It was her 13-year-old son she was thinking about.
And I just felt like we were headed the wrong way, for sure. And I started looking at my son, Bruce. I didn't want him to have to grow up in a world where there was just such a narrow perspective.
So you hear about the opportunities for nurses in Canada.
Yes.
What was your reaction when you saw that post?
That's it. That's where I'm going. Canada, I'm going to be a Canadian, you know, and get the bag. Elbows up.
Hello, Americans. I'm Todd. We've been watching the news. We know it's getting worse down there.
It's not just government recruiting healthcare workers.
Our kids dodge homework, not live rounds. Our healthcare's not barbarian. We are the very model of the modern-day Canadians.
Former CBC radio host Todd Maffin is leading a grassroots campaign to bring more healthcare workers to Nanaimo.
It really is the community has come together to just give these people advice.
A lot of people in Canada are liking becoming our beautiful, cherished 51st state.
Several months ago, when Donald Trump began threatening to annex Canada, and Canadians responded by canceling trips and buying local, Maffin had an idea. He invited American neighbors north in a show of cross-border solidarity.
I had thought that for them coming up, it would just be kind of a fun weekend. They'd eat some Nanaimo bars, they'd want to see plane, they'd look at some whales, they'd go home. But it was clear that it was much more meaningful for a lot of them. Some of them came up and hugged me or my wife and wept. They were so moved by the opportunity to see that there was a safe place for them and their family to go to in a way that could also help Canada.
So he and his wife set up an online community for Canada-curious healthcare workers.
And it's now busy. There are 1,200 people, mostly American healthcare workers in there. Nurses, phlebotomists, doctors, surgeons, all grouped into different categories, all looking at different regions. If you are an American healthcare worker and you've been thinking about moving to Canada,
One of Maffin's TikTok videos caught the attention of Henrietta Addo.
And I was like, okay, this is kind of cute. And it said, for physicians and nurses, if you're interested, contact this recruiter.
At the time, Addo was analyzing hospital data in Michigan, and she was worried about losing her job as the Trump administration cut diversity, equity, and inclusion programs.
And seeing as I was the only Black person in my role, it was like, okay, if they start making cuts, will you be it? You know, and I was like the newest hire from like 2 years ago. Will you be it?
Did you feel more vulnerable because you're Black?
1,000%. 1,000%. I'm excited. It's a new adventure, a new learning.
The paperwork took 5 months. Then Addo and her boyfriend drove across the country to her new home by the ocean and a job in the emergency room at Nanaimo General. She says she feels welcome.
I think as we're here, we're seeing more and more Black people, and it's great, but I haven't had any uncomfortable situations here. People see you, they ask you where you're from, and they get excited that you're here. So it's just kind of been, I feel like an ordinary person here, really.
Both Addo and Fry expect the work will be challenging. Nanaimo has a busy ER. It's a trauma center. There's an opioid crisis, and there aren't enough nurses.
I've gotten calls every single day from their automated AI system. Here's some shifts. Would you like some shifts? Would you like to work some shifts? We've got some shifts for you. I'm like,
You haven't even started yet.
No, I haven't started yet.
Do you think Canada can live up to your high expectations?
I think it already has. Just look at, I mean, the people have been so welcoming. People, every time they find out I'm a nurse, they're like, thank you so much.
Even before her first day, she got this thank you card at the hospital.
The very best to you and your beautiful son.
It's from someone in Toronto who saw her post online about moving to Canada.
Really moved me, actually.
Fry's first day went well.
Hey, Brandy, how was it?
It was great.
Yeah.
It was really awesome. I really enjoyed the staff and felt really welcoming, and it's great.
You must be tired.
Kind of exhausted mentally, yeah.
Tired, but confident she made the right choice to leave the United States.
It just solidifies that this is where I belong. Feels good. Feels really good.
One day down, a whole new life to go. Brandy Fry says there are now 3 American nurses working in the Nanaimo ER. She sent us this picture of them over the holidays. That's Brandy, Henrietta, and Rachel, who is from Texas. Brandy Fry says 2 more nurses are expected to start in the new year. When we come back, CBC News photojournalists look back at their top moments in this country in 2025.
Nice contrast there, like crazy jubilation and abject despair.
Those behind the lens share the stories behind those memorable images next. CBC News photojournalists capture thousands of shots every year. Tonight, Ben Nelms and Evan Mitsui share their most compelling images of 2025.
My goal is to show the audience things that they normally wouldn't ever be able to see. My name is Ben Nelms.
I'm Evan Mitsui. I'm a staff photographer.
I'm a staff photojournalist
at CBC.
With CBC News, based in Vancouver.
Based in Toronto. I've got 3 of my favorite pictures.
Favorite 3 photos?
From 2025.
So the first image was from the World Series when the Toronto Blue Jays were facing the Los Angeles Dodgers in LA. I like this photo a lot because of the composition. There's a lot of dead space, as we call it, on the bottom sort of half of the image. And just how the shadow sort of frames the subject in this image kind of draws your eye towards him. And there's a lot of luck involved in photojournalism, and you have to be good to be lucky, and you're lucky to be good, but being able just to be in the right spot at literally the right moment when this pitcher was throwing a ball right in the sun was a little bit of luck and a little bit of preparation.
Here is the first of the 3 pictures that I chose. And it's a photo of now Prime Minister Mark Carney, but at the time, this was taken in February, and he was the Liberal leader at the time and a relative political unknown. This is a rally in Scarborough, and he's just sort of quietly entering stage left, which is, I think, how a lot of Canadians discovered him. And I picked this photo because I like that he's alone. It's something that you don't see a prime minister, being alone much. Now that he's in the office, he's surrounded by aides and security and other journalists, and I just liked this nice, quiet moment.
My next photo is a picture of the McBarge. This is a famous vessel from Expo 86 that served as a floating McDonald's. It has some history and some lore in Vancouver, and this year it sank. The McBarge in Vancouver is such an infamous vessel that when it sunk, it was quite big news. And being able to see it from above in the Fraser River on its side was powerful for a lot of people, and I think it sort of wrapped a story of the historic ship. Being able to use a drone is very important, and it's a very useful tool in photojournalism, and it provides a perspective that readers might not be able to see every day.
This is a line of people standing in the cold in Walkerton, Ontario in January. There was a new doctor moving to town, and sort of rural healthcare is in crisis in southern Ontario and a lot of other places. Thousands of people came to line up just for a chance of getting a doctor. And I think they were accepting 500 patients, and another 500 got to go on the wait list, and there were, a lot more than that. A lot of people went home cold and doctorless that day. Really important story.
The third photo is from just after the Lapu Lapu Day tragedy in Vancouver. This was a very traumatic, and many people died. I remember seeing this woman praying on the ground in the middle of the street the day after Lapu Lapu, and it was just very strong to me in a very quiet way. I think a lot of people couldn't relate to a photo like this because it's just an unbelievable tragedy, and usually there's a silence of mourning that falls over a community after something like this happens, and I hope I was able to show that in a single image.
So this is the celebration at the end of the World Series. It's Dodgers pitcher Yamamoto in the middle, surrounded by his teammates. Ohtani's over there, and it's like this moment of pure jubilation. And to be totally honest, it's a better photo if you crop it in here and just focus on his face and fill the frame with the guys. But I was there, to shoot the Jays. And so I left it loose because I don't know, I was just focused on the bat up here. That's Alejandro Kirk's broken bat. And, it ended up being the last at bat of the Jays season that resulted in a crazy double play that won the Dodgers the pennant. Nice contrast there, crazy jubilation and abject despair. The broken bat, the bat of broken dreams. The coolest part about being a photojournalist is I get to do a thing that is a lot of other people's hobby. It's my hobby too. My job and my hobby is the same thing. It's great.
I feel like photojournalism can be a lighthouse in a sea of misinformation and photos that people digest every single day. Having a professional photojournalist who's accountable and responsible and uses ethics as a foundation of their craft is extremely important, and it's very, very valuable to readers and audiences and communities.
We are counting down the most popular moments of the year, and this one is a TV debut right here on The National.
Oh, I'm so proud of you!
His parents' surprise in Our Moment next. We're continuing our countdown of the most popular moments of the year. When Justin Fung's invention was featured here on The National, he didn't give his parents a heads up. Adrienne Arsenault takes us through the big surprise in tonight's moment.
This was something that the community might need.
When he first appeared on the screen, Justin could barely contain his laughter. His parents wondering, is this real or some kind of artificial intelligence prank? But this was no fake. As we introduced the segment with a picture of Justin and his dog Mac, his parents looked on in disbelief. Their own son, a computer science prodigy, bit of a TV star now. They watched his talented work, a website connecting those in need with crucial resources. His face now broadcast to viewers across the country. Lots of laughter, but of course, some serious parental pride.
Oh, I'm so proud of you!
And naturally, a big hug. Even the dog got some congrats. All before asking for an encore performance.
When Justin first started the site, just a few people were on it, but now thousands are using it. From all of us at The National, thank you for being with us. I'm Lindsay Duncombe in Vancouver. Take care.